Of Earth and Sky is part of an open call to musicians, artists, and writers to put together a collage of sorts of a range of expressions of how we feel about earth and sky, our human relationship with it, and our future. Next up is a Quilt of Words, which is a spoken word event. And I'd like to first thank a couple of people at the museum. First, Rob Skidema in the education and programming for inviting us to perform here. And second, big round of applause for Dan Tell for putting up with us. He's working really hard, as anyone who does sound for a collage effort always does. We got the easy part. What's happening next is a spoken word event. And what we did is we took in, from an open call, writing from GRCC students and any area of expression and how they felt about earth or sky that they chose to put in. And so a creative writing 2 class that I teach put together this quilt of words by taking a look at the themes, the rhythms, the tones, the voices, and patching things together in pieces like a quilt. And we also have a border of wishes. So I'd like to bring our quilters up now. Speaking for the voice of nature and nature writing, Ian. Critical response, you'll hear Gavin. I am going to be reading what we call confessions, and Brooke is going to be reading from a voice of despair. Ken, who you might see move around, he's that piece in the quilt that keeps coming back but doesn't always stay in order. He's going to represent environmental literature over time. And again, our border of wishes, Jackie and Dave.
Birds chattering and twittering, arguing the merits of the day. Dogs bark in anticipation of long, long walks. Children yell and scream, unencumbered by winter's swaddling, laughing at their freedom.
In a time of utter disarray, we verge on economic collapse. The masses are in uproar. Of course it's hard to sift through all the nonsense and misinformation. Ignorance and apathy do no one justice. In fact, they do just the opposite. Build up, tear down, throw away. And why? All for our convenience, something we are all victims of.
My van leaks oil. I have to add about a quart every 1,000 miles. I know where it goes, into the Grand River every time it rains, along with all the other toxic puddles. I could fix it if I really wanted to, but I'm poor. It's cheaper just to have the gallon of 10W30 on hand.
I wish for the green that only comes from Mother Nature, the soft, misty green of moss, the crisp, cool green of the aspen tree, powerful, pungent green of poems. I wish for the dark night sky, uninterrupted by artificial light, soft, sweet twinkling stars, black, pure, clean night.
All I want is time to look up at the sky. How many times a day do you look up? Once? Twice? Never?
I wish I had more time to play in the sun.
There should be patches of green within walkable distances for all people. We should all have a place to commune with nature, enough car exhaust, enough cement.
I wish that more people would boycott hurtful industries.
I wish we didn't have landfills.
I wish that a fisher person could eat their catch from the river without anxiety about toxins.
The sun is low on the horizon. Water extends as far as the eye can see, and soft-grained white sand coats the shoreline. I stand for a moment, taking it all in. Spotting a log lying on the beach, I begin to descend. Down the hill I move with ease, anxious to reach my destination. Removing my shoes, I sit back and exhale deeply. I look out at God's intended landscape. My eyes begin to water.
We are what we eat. Human need for consumption has led to the pillage of our natural resources and the poisoning of our earth. Our actions against the very earth that sustains and nurtures us will not go unpunished. The toxins return to us from the air, the sea, and the earth. As we remain careless, we will ingest these pathogens, eating our words and misdeeds. We must learn to nurture the earth as her most intimate stewards if we have any expectation that we deserve health and vitality in return. Since we are what we eat, may we tend our garden well.
The wealth of the nation is its air, its water, its soil, its forests, its minerals, rivers, lakes, and oceans, scenic beauty, wildlife habitats, and biodiversity. That's the whole economy. These biological systems are the sustaining wealth of the world. Gaylord Nelson.
Climate change is in part my fault. I take scenic drives on beautifully sunny days with no regard for the gas I'm burning. I buy products wrapped in plastic, packed in cardboard, then wrapped in more plastic. Finally, I leave a light on at night because my fear of the dark overshadows my love of the earth.
I wish everyone could go out to the country at night, lie down in an open field, watch and listen as darkness falls and the stars begin to pop out. Maybe then the problems we pile high on our backs and stack into the corner of our minds would seem much less weighty or worthy than the glitter of the Milky Way overhead. But most city dwellers see only the brightest 20 or 30 stars. Sadly, they may not ever see the thousands of silvery pinpricks that glow down to me now.
The moon is full and bright and floats eerily on a black canvas. Orange sprayed across the sidewalk and street corners, leaving the bottoms of buildings nut-colored and shadowy. Headlights pass and break yellow-white streams through the dark. Music thumps and drones, and I stare at the soft glow of the city lights. Shadows symphonic and synthetic and strangely soothing. A purple wave caresses, then powers off a blackened, silent snaking river, past highways. Past the river shimmering with the moon's doppelganger, past bridges and apartments and darkened homes, into forests that outline the city like kids playing out of playground games. The wind rustles through leaves and becomes lost in the trees, a green so dark it is almost black.
Streets void of life, replaced by roaring metal with barren dirt yearning for green. One-way streams, constant currents of cars swimming along the Grand Rapids gridwork. Such a chore. I think I'll walk.
The power went out and wasn't due to be restored for days. We were excited, all of us. Let's stick it out. We had wood-burning fireplace, plenty of groceries and water, and we'd pile on sweaters and comforters to keep warm. We'd light candles and play games or have a snowball fight under the stars. But with the first darkening sky, we packed it up and headed for Grandma's. The temperature in the house was freezing anywhere outside of the 4-foot radius of the fireplace. The kids wouldn't play outside when coming indoors didn't mean warming up, and I was miserable listening to their whining. I still want to be self-sufficient. I want us as a family to be able to rely on each other. I want to know how to grow vegetables and fruits. I want to know how to butcher our meat, at least know where to go locally to purchase it. I want to know how to use a sewing machine with success to make real clothes, not costumes and scarves. I want us to know how to be.
What of all the other species we drive to extinction, day after day, and in some places, hour by hour? Are we thoughtless, or do we choose not to think, or feel, or imagine? What about those hundreds of living creatures losing their homes, their skylines, their soils? Doesn't it make sense that all of life needs to be cared for? Doesn't this make perfect, easy sense?
This planet has been delivered wholly assembled and in perfect working condition and is intended for fully automatic and trouble-free operation in orbit around its star, the sun. However, to ensure proper functioning, all passengers are requested to familiarize themselves fully with the following instructions. Warning: loss or even temporary misplacement of these instructions may result in calamity. Passengers who proceed without the benefit of these rules are likely to cause considerable damage before they can learn the proper operating procedures themselves. David Brower.
I wish my neighbors would love my weeds as much as my flowers.
I wish that genetically modified foods were illegal.
I wish people understood that printed money is not wealth. Clean air, drinkable water, healthy soil, these are true measures of wealth.
I wish that I knew how to garden instead of how to use a credit card.
I wish people understood what sacrifice is. I wish people cared.
I wish that the cornfield across from my house wasn't zoned for housing.
I wish more people would walk, rollerblade, or ride a bike.
I wish we weren't so addicted to convenience.
The wind is whirling slowly through the leaves of the oaks surrounding me on this forest floor. I lay in the sand, running my fingers through the soft, cool grains. It smells like rain is coming.
I propose that one should not view the outside from sheltered walls, but rather from the center of nature. To feel its presence, one must become immersed in it, become part of it. As our spirits appreciate the world around us, our physical bodies must do the same. In becoming a part of our outside world, we may be able to live a less materialistic, more complete life.
We have forgotten the earth and her charms. We need not know how to plant a tree, a bush, a flower. All we need now is a car, some cash, and a store counter. With the invention of games like Farmville, children get instant gratification growing a crop on screen, not the delayed delight of watching a plant grow. We have replaced nature with machines.
When I was a little girl, I used to take field trips with my school class in the woods. We walked and explored nature. We would smell the forest and sit for hours relaxing. I was always told to make sure I kept nature clean. I never threw trash or empty bottles anywhere in the woods. That would destroy my perfect picture of the forest that I loved. If we don't take care of Mother Nature, we will suffocate ourselves from the despair we produce.
In the early morning cold, when I can still see my breath like a halo from my mouth, I sit on the edge of a dock looking at the mirror image reflection of the sun coming over the horizon, the photographic perfection across the sheen of water. There is not one sky, but two. Two suns, two worlds existing in tandem. When I sit in that stillness, letting the reflection of two identical worlds dance across my eyes, it makes me think, God, sometimes you are a show-off.
It seems reasonable to believe that the more clearly we can focus our attention on the wonders and realities of the universe about us, the less taste we shall have for destruction. Wonder and humility are wholesome emotions, and they do not exist side by side with a lust for destruction. Rachel Carson.
We are killing ourselves. We mindlessly use all of our resources and then ruin the rest with pollution and deforestation. The oxygen is less breathable, the water less drinkable, and the food less nourishing. We created this mess, so we should find a way to clean it up. What makes it so hard to clean up our world and change our careless ways? Money, power, greed, mindless using and abusing of the non-renewable resources we've been tapping into for the last 100 years? Pick one.
Comfortable lifestyles dominate and restrained actions prevail in a world that is impartial. Mother Earth does not care. Neglected knowledge idly rests as distractions are selected, keeping us all from the truth. It is easier not to care.
What if it's already too late? China and India are following suit, ushering in the old ways of industrial America. Too long have our methods gone unchanged, and because America is unwilling to change before it must, we may have to endure nature's wrath.
We have been too kind to those who are killing the planet. We have been inexcusably, unforgivably, insanely kind. Derek Jensen.
I wish companies would make one quality product instead of 100 companies making several junk products.
I wish the great garbage dump in the middle of the ocean would just disappear.
I wish dollar stores didn't exist.
I wish that people were as obsessed with farmers markets as they are with fast food chains.
I wish I didn't feel so attached to my cell phone or so out of touch without it.
I wish that TV and double cheeseburgers stopped being so addictive.
Measured in constant dollars, the world's people have consumed as many goods and services since the 1950s as all previous generations put together. Americans alone have used up as large a share of Earth's mineral resources as did everyone before them combined. Yet this historical epic of titanic consumption appears to have failed to make the consumer class any happier. Alan Durning.
Days fade to night. The inky blue-black sky stretches on, seemingly endless. The breeze gently rustles the trees with a tender swishing sound. The wind music makes them dance. The quiet, peaceful night, not yet warm enough for the incessant chirping of crickets, is perfect for introspection. Everything's so still, and in that stillness, smells are sharper. The air brisk and refreshing in a way daytime never realizes.
If you humble yourself, maybe we can be friends. There are plenty of places you could make your amends. How can I, but one, assist tendencies to move, when my ideas, I fret, are not in tune with the groove? I love your body, but hate your mind. Wish we could discuss some things to refine. I cast my vote to no avail, my voice unheard, the ship set sail. You are too proud in making me angry, but I am you, and you are me. This well-oiled machine has lost a screw. In God we trust, and I in you. Forget your sorrows, for we are the best. There is nothing you need to get off your chest.
I confess I own some pretty bad stocks in a mutual fund, Monsanto, among others. Anyone know of a green fund?
I stand on the porch looking into the darkness of the night. A deep, dreary sky seems lifeless, void of sun and moon. No stars to count either. Wicked black tree branches hang low, and all around, stillness. Oh, to see some color, but the blanket of glistening snow has only made everything dark into white.
Clouds of white relax as they pass overhead along the urban skyline.
Smoldering sun glistens on sharp blades of grass protruding from the earth.
Bubbles of clouds loom lazily over a brilliant blue sky.
City street buzzing, blackbird soars through blue skies. Spring, she flourishes.
Shadow of a tree falls on a cool brick surface when sun shines from the east.
Wisps of clouds barely hiding the blinding yet cherished sun held by the invisible hand of sky.
Dead leaves plastered on the ground, flaky, dry, brown, gray, old paper mache. Wind picks up and spring is here.
Squirrels dueling over a French fry, brown bushy tails flash and shake. Mating season is off to a bad start.
Today, we celebrate the earth and all it offers. The flowers and grass, trees and soil. The vibrancy of the earth's art begins in spring with blooms and blossoms and has a different palette for each month into fall. During winter, the earth creates a new canvas of white to begin anew in spring.
After you have exhausted what there is in business, politics, conviviality, love, and so on, have found that none of these finally satisfy or permanently wear, what remains? Nature remains, to bring out from their torpid recesses the affinities of a man or woman with the open air, the trees, the fields, the changes of season, the sun by day and the stars of heaven by night. We will begin from these convictions. Walt Whitman.
We have boarded the train, a speeding death trap. It is clear that we have climbed aboard this train collectively as a people inhabiting this world. What is less clear is how do we derail this speeding death trap? How do we stop the train from slamming full speed into that wall? Interestingly enough, it seems that as a society, we are somehow aware of the fact that we are speeding toward destruction. We understand that the world is a finite resource, limited to the space and elements of which it is made. Further, we seem to intuitively know that there is such a thing as overconsumption. We know this because we believe in greed. Unfortunately, believing in greed does not make us more capable of pointing it out.
I confess, I don't have anything to confess, and that's pretty scary.
Pasture, that's what most of the land south of Lake Michigan was. Prairie and pasture, and as the ground firmed away from water, oak savannas off to the west. But now, oil refineries and coal plants and chemical companies a mile deep line down the southern Lake Michigan shore, and the water runs an iridescent, luminescent green that is anything but natural.
When my spirit leaves this earth, I hope my ashes will be spread around so that my soul faces the sky.
I wish the little joys of life didn't have to be so little.
I wish for a day when children won't know what a cigarette butt looks like because they won't litter the ground where little ones play.
I wish our waters were as clear and clean as they were when the glaciers first melted.
I wish that those who said they would make a difference would actually do something about it.
I wish people would spend more time walking and enjoying the outdoors.
I wish people were more concerned and considerate with the earth because she is the fruit that gives us life.
I wish that I could go out fishing without speedboats and jet skis flying around.
Just think about nature, the way the sky meets the lakes, the oceans, how in perforated bliss we balance the beauty, the billowing clouds, the bracketed waves, how in ethereal majesty the world moves as one, a giant cog in the ticking clock of the universe. Think about air, the crystalline purity of H2O, the nitrogen-enriched atmosphere after an April shower. Lovely, isn't it?
When they said you could do anything, you believed them. Did you think while walking on the beach you could turn the bone-white sand to ash, crunching between your toes? Did you think you could turn the bright blue sky to olive brown? And now, while you walk to your car, you cannot breathe the crisp, clean air that rolls in off the lake. Instead, your lungs fill up like holes in the earth, spilling over with plastic bottles and shredded shoeboxes. Puffs of laden wishes escape your crumbling lips. Ash clouds melt into the horizon and hang above your head. Do you still believe them? Do you still believe you can do anything? Do you believe you can change it?
We have a compost bin in the yard. We're growing vegetables, a few more each year, from a salsa garden to herbs to early crops like peas and broccoli. But there are so many more steps we could take. Can you believe it? As conscious as we are, our biggest hurdle is paper. Every week, as we each clean our designated rooms, we bag up the paper. We're supposed to bring it out to the garage and sort things into bins, but our weekends are free time, family time, our only time to get outside and feel alive. So we rush and clean with garbage bags. 5 more minutes, and we could do the right thing.
The earth is round. We have known this for hundreds of years, but few people even today see what it means, that everywhere on earth, linked by cause and effect, is in a sense the same place, that there is only so much earth and sky and water. We do not have unlimited amounts of anything, of land, of wind, of rain, of food, of sunlight. The earth is round, and roundness means limits. Friends of the earth.
Wildflowers escape behind conformed hedges, pedicured to match uniform buildings. Shadows stretch over cool cement beneath the shine of wasted sunlight, shipwrecked on gray skyscrapers.
A beach towel flapping in the wind beside empty lawn chairs. The crystal sheen of rippling water where minnows dance in schools between singing reeds. A buoy rides the hump of a boat wake, and a holy canoe lies tipped upside down. On the water floats a deflated beach ball, with sand dunes on the horizon and a lava-burned sun.
And all the while, the climate is changing. Angry summers, insistent floods, belligerent blizzards, grudging droughts, and pissed-off hurricanes. With poles warming and ice shelves caving, permafrost slumping and glaciers receding, sea levels rising and big cities sinking as rabbits run, and locusts hoard, and army ants march, and mosquitoes hunt, and rodents overrun, the balance undone.
Cooking dinner is a chore, and it can't cost less than the dollar menu. I'm tired after work, and I just don't have time or the energy. I don't want to think. I just want to eat. And give me some of that extra sauce, too. I love that sauce.
The ancients heard the music of the spheres in the celestial sky. The Pythagoreans made it into math. Why can't we hear the beauty and wisdom in the universe? What have we done to so completely drown it out?
Science has given us a way of understanding the earth in such a way as to use the planet, That's the challenge, the use of the planet, and that's the fatal aspect of science, is that science gives us the power, but it doesn't explain how to use the power. Thomas Berry.
I wish I could turn a corner and not see trash. To be able to look at clean would be wonderful. Clean grass, clean landscapes, clean roadsides, even clean asphalt and sidewalks. To see full trash cans, not full gutters, full recycling bins, not full alleys. No trash, just the evidence of our respect for the earth that supports our very lives.
I wish more people felt responsible and took initiative.
I wish trash tossed carelessly from car windows would reverse motion and dump itself upon the lap of the offender.
I wish I could think more productively.
Walt Whitman said, "Through the ample open door of the peaceful country barn, a sunlit pasture with cattle and horses feeding, and haze and vista, and the far horizon fading away."
Obligations grow out of relationships, the philosopher Nell Noddings pointed out, and she's right. We know what it means to care. Just as we are connected to our families and care about them, we are connected to land, both emotionally and biologically. Figuring out what's right in any given instance isn't going to be easy. You have to learn about your natural communities, how things fit together, what makes communities flourish, what weakens their bonds. You have to study what you might call the ecology of love. Kathleen Dean Moore.
We multitask ourselves into a coma with all of our techno gadgets. We've networked our Blackberries to our brains, to our emails, to our TVs, to our laptops. We're lost in a maze of connectedness.
I walk by house after house, illuminated in that sick blue light, and I wonder what keeps people glued to the idiot box. If only they knew the genius and regeneration of night walking, the quiet contemplation and breezes that seem to answer.
Billowing and bountiful is the beauty of a big cloud, among tremendous trunks of trees that tower, over cute and creepy creatures that climb and crawl, shot down, cut down, disappearing.
Let us spend one day as deliberately as nature and not be thrown off the track by every nutshell and mosquito's wing that falls on the rails. Henry David Thoreau.
We considered a swim out to the island in Copper Harbor, which might have been more aptly named Mauve Harbor. The ash of basalt mixed with the purple of rhyolite to color the rocks and the sand and the roads a dusty rose unlike anywhere else in the world. And Superior's unnameable blue, at once so deep and dark, but glowing with the purple of its rocky bottom, it seeped into everything. Even the sky drank the special mix.
Our society is becoming so corrupt and out of touch with reality. The media has taken over the way people consciously think, and no one is making decisions for themselves anymore. The lines between right and wrong are constantly being blurred. We are inundated with so much information and visual stimulus that it is becoming increasingly more difficult to wade through all of the muck, finding that nugget of truth that lies under it all. We blindly reach for ideas that we have been lied to about, and we search for them in places where they do not even exist. Can we be saved?
I confess, I love to shop. And not in the vintage stores or some local weaver's storefront. I like the mall. I can't help it. I know it's full of advertising that attempts to prey on my inner weaknesses, but that's just it. The mall is full and waiting. It's a conquest all its own.
Trees do scream. I've heard them. Loggers in the old-growth forests were the first to admit this, that 200-foot-tall trees, sawed and pulled, their trunks straining to stay upright, let out the most guttural moans and whines. But so do maples and oaks and aspen. They came with chainsaws and bobcats and chains on Memorial Weekend, and the forest we fought to save for years went down in days. High canopied maples, their trunks sawed through, were then wrapped with chains and the bobcats revved in reverse. The trees shimmied and whined, then cracked and screamed, and I felt the ground vibrate with the tearing up of roots. I remember looking down at my feet and crying. Even as those old, tall maples were dragged away, they tried to resist, branches reaching out to still standing trees, and I swear they tried to pull back.
Among all creatures, we're the only kind that frets, the only kind that asks forgiveness or needs to. Meanwhile, crows palaver in the pines, crickets sing in the high grass, cottonwoods wag their leaves in every least wind, having held our tongues to listen, having fallen asleep to the barred owl's call, and wakened to the fog over the mad river, having seen the pond shiver like the taut hide of a horse, and the dew ignite with dawn, freed now to break silence, we might find words to speak our love of earth. Scott Russell Sanders.
I have something to say. We live in a beautiful world, full of sunshine and singing birds. We live in a society that has made so many advances through the years, but they have come at a cost. Trees have been cut down and entire habitats have been destroyed. I guess the real question then is, was it all necessary? Did we really have to go to such extreme measures? The best thing for our world is for everyone to go outside and just look around. Look at the small things, the birds nesting, the green grass and expansive fields, and the squirrels collecting food for winter. Enjoy this beauty and think, what can I do to save these things?
I have something to say, something I think everyone has said to themselves but never allowed. This is wrong. This can't be how it is, can it? But what can you do? I'm so busy. I only have time in the day to wonder what my drive to work just did to the environment. What the trucks that drove the flash frozen food across the country for me to get in a drive-through just did to the environment. What the weapons used to fight battles to prop friendly governments on foreign soil for the foreign oil just did to the environment. What my drive to work means to the soldier fighting for it. Only time to wonder, never time to act. I wish it wasn't like this.
One path leads to despair and utter hopelessness, the other to total extinction. Let us pray we have the wisdom to choose correctly. Woody Allen.
I have something to say. I'm sorry. I know why I contribute to climate change. I lost the key to my bike lock. So stupid, I know. That, and I'm so disorganized that I'm always running late, and hence I don't have time to walk or bike. And I forget my grocery list when I do decide to go, so I end up making multiple trips for things I forget. I don't drive a Hummer, but still, it all adds up.
I have something to say. It is frightening that God's green earth is rapidly becoming our dumpster. Everywhere we look, we see our trash. The lush gardens, the majesty of the earth, is drowned by a blanket of filth, and we are rooting in it like pigs, unaware.
I wish that global warming and our dwindling fuel supply got as much coverage as the Tiger Woods extravaganza.
I wish I didn't believe all the lies that are told as truth.
I wish the decisions of few didn't harm the lives of so many.
I wish that drastic change was not so frightening and did not seem so impossible.
I wish I knew more about this topic.
I wish the sky could always be as blue as sapphires, twinkling happily in the secure blanket of a healthy atmosphere.
I wish there was an easy answer to all of these problems and that answer could be put into motion without contestation.
I wish I could walk through the forest every day.
I wish for future generations to be happy with the choices we make today.
I wish I could help. I wish I could stop this cycle.
I wish we had a plan for the future.
Thank you, and we invite you to make wishes of your own. We have Theodore, who's actually going to play original compositions on the piano. It'll take just a little bit for us to adjust our set here, or actually, should I say Dan, to adjust the set. So thanks for being here. I also wanted to mention that the art that you saw as the digital imagery, as we read, came from GRCC art students and faculty, and that around the museum, printed work is on display, so please stop and enjoy that. Thank you.